Why Tolstoy's War and Peace remains humanity's greatest novel. Hook and intro. Have you ever wondered if there's one book, one single narrative that could encapsulate the entirety of human experience? A story so vast in its scope, so profound in its philosophical inquiry, and so intimately detailed in its portrayal of individual lives that it might just hold the key to understanding life itself. For many, that book is Leo Tolstoy's War and Peace. It's a novel that doesn't just tell a story. It is a world, a universe, a mirror held up to the very essence of what it means to be human. Today, we embark on a journey into the heart of this literary colossus. We're going to explore why War and Peace is consistently heralded as the greatest novel ever written, what makes its position in world literature so unique, and perhaps most importantly, why its insights remain incredibly relevant to our modern lives, even over a century and a half after its publication. Imagine a canvas so immense it can contain both the thunderous chaos of historic battles and the quiet whispers of a lover's confession. Picture a narrative so rich it weaves together the destinies of dozens of characters, from awkward, searching intellectuals to vibrant, impulsive young women, from ambitious princes to simple, steadfast peasants. This is the world Tolstoy built, a world that critics have called a dictionary of life, where you can look up any passion, any ambition, and find its meaning. This isn't just a historical novel about Napoleon's invasion of Russia. It's a sweeping epic that interrogates the very nature of history, free will, and our unending search for purpose. Why should you, a modern viewer, invest your time in understanding a novel written in 19th century Russia? Because War and Peace grapples with questions that are as urgent today as they were then. How do we find meaning in a world often defined by conflict and uncertainty? What is the role of the individual when vast historical forces seem to be at play? How do love, family, and simple human connections sustain us through profound personal and societal upheavals? These are the accursed questions that Tolstoy tackles head-on, offering not easy answers, but a profound and empathetic exploration that empowers us to reflect on our own existence. In this video, we'll strip away the daunting length and delve into the core of War and Peace. We'll explore its revolutionary form, its unforgettable characters, its groundbreaking philosophy of history, and its timeless insights into the human condition. By the end, you'll understand why this isn't just a book to be admired, but a profound guide to living. A literary monument that stands as a beacon for humanity's endless quest for understanding. So settle in and let's unravel the enduring majesty of War and Peace. Context and background. To truly appreciate the monumental achievement that is War and Peace, we must first set the stage. The author, his era, and the dramatic historical events that form the novel's backdrop. Leo Tolstoy, born in 1828 to an aristocratic Russian family, was a titan of world literature and a profound moral philosopher. He wrote War and Peace between 1863 and 1869, a period of immense social and intellectual ferment in Russia. Having served as an artillery officer in the Crimean War, Tolstoy had a visceral, first-hand understanding of the brutal realities of armed conflict, which he brought with unflinching honesty to his depiction of battles. This personal experience profoundly shaped his anti-war sentiments and his philosophical inquiries into the nature of history and heroism. The novel is primarily set between 1805 and 1812, covering the Napoleonic Wars, a defining period that reshaped Europe. At its heart is Napoleon Bonaparte's disastrous invasion of Russia in 1812, a cataclysmic event known to Russians as the Patriotic War. This was a time of intense nationalism, political upheaval, and vast military campaigns that swept across the continent, forever altering the social and political landscape. Tolstoy used this grand historical canvas to explore the most intimate human experiences, illustrating how personal destinies are inextricably linked to the grand sweep of history. War and Peace defies easy categorization. Tolstoy himself famously stated it was not a novel, nor a poem, nor a historical chronicle. Instead, he described it as a work expressed in the form he desired, a testament to its revolutionary narrative structure. It is an epic novel that blends fictional narrative with historical analysis and philosophical discourse, often described as a novel epic or a philosophical novel. Its sheer scale and ambition prompted comparisons to ancient epics like Homer's Iliad, positioning it as a Russian Iliad for its monumental significance in the global literary canon. Let's now introduce the main characters whose intertwined lives form the emotional and philosophical core of this vast story. First, there's Pierre Bezukhov, the awkward, illegitimate son of a wealthy count. Initially adrift and searching for purpose, Pierre inherits a vast fortune, throwing him into the sophisticated, often superficial, world of Petersburg and Moscow aristocracy. He struggles with his desires, dabbling in philosophical societies like Freemasonry, engaging in passionate but ultimately unfulfilling relationships, and constantly seeking meaning in a chaotic world. His journey is one of profound spiritual and intellectual searching, marked by deep introspection and a yearning for truth. Then we have Prince Andrei Bolkonsky, a proud, intelligent, and ambitious aristocrat, disillusioned with the emptiness of high society. He longs for glory on the battlefield, believing it will provide purpose and escape from his unhappy marriage. Andrei embodies a struggle between cynical intellect and a yearning for transcendence. His experiences in war, his near-death moments, and his personal losses lead him through periods of profound despair, ultimately forcing him to reevaluate his values and search for a more authentic, peaceful existence. And finally, Natasha Rostova, the vibrant, impulsive, and immensely charming daughter of Count Rostov. Natasha is the embodiment of life's exuberance, characterized by her passion for music, dancing, and love. Her journey is one of emotional growth, moving from youthful idealism and romantic missteps to the profound joys and responsibilities of love, marriage, and motherhood. She represents the force of life and the enduring importance of human connection and empathy. Her transformation highlights the novel's exploration of personal development and the search for meaningful life. The novel also introduces us to their families. The older Count and Countess Rostov, symbolizing traditional Russian warmth and hospitality, often struggling with financial difficulties but rich in emotional life. Their children, including the brave and upright Nikolai Rostova, who joins the Hussars, and the quiet, devoted Sonya, Natasha's cousin, complete this lively family. The Bolkonsky family consists of the formidable, often tyrannical old Prince Bolkonsky, a retired general obsessed with order and intellect, and his devout, gentle daughter, Princess Maria Balkanskaya. Maria, overshadowed by her demanding father, finds solace in her faith and her love for others, eventually finding happiness through unexpected circumstances. These characters navigate a complex social landscape of balls, hunts, family gatherings, and political intrigues, all against the looming threat of Napoleon's advancing armies. Tolstoy meticulously details the customs, conversations, and class structures of early 19th century Russia, immersing the reader in a vibrant, yet deeply stratified society. He contrasts the artificiality and pretensions of court life with the more genuine, heartfelt experiences of family and the raw reality of the battlefield. This rich tapestry of individual lives and societal forces allows Tolstoy to explore his profound philosophical ideas about history, human agency, and the search for authentic living. The background of the Napoleonic Wars provides the relentless pressure cooker that forces these characters to confront their deepest fears, desires, and beliefs. The 1805 campaigns, culminating in the Battle of Austerlitz, serve as an initial baptism of fire for Andrei. Later, the terrifying onslaught of 1812, including the devastating Battle of Borodino and the burning of Moscow, becomes the ultimate test of their humanity and resilience. Tolstoy uses these historical moments not just as events, but as crucibles in which his characters are forged, broken, and ultimately transformed. Core narrative and analysis War and Peace is a narrative of staggering ambition, meticulously unfolding over 1,200 pages, blending historical events, philosophical essays, and the most intimate human dramas. At its heart lies the omnipresent tension between war and peace, not just as literal states, but as fundamental aspects of human existence: the external chaos versus internal harmony, societal conflict versus familial love, individual ambition versus collective destiny. Tolstoy famously challenges the great man theory of history, which posits that history is shaped by the singular will and genius of towering figures like Napoleon. Instead, he argues that historical events are the result of countless individual actions, the swarm life of humanity often driven by instinct, chance, and an inscrutable force he calls providence. Leaders, in his view, are merely instruments, focal points for these broader, unconscious movements. Napoleon, for all his perceived brilliance, is portrayed by Tolstoy as a vain, self-deluded figure disconnected from the true forces at play. This argument is vividly illustrated in the novel's pivotal battle scenes. Consider the Battle of Borodino in 1812, one of the most vividly depicted battles in literature. Tolstoy plunges the reader into the mud, smoke, and sheer terror of the engagement. We don't see the battle from a detached general's map, but through the eyes of ordinary soldiers, officers like Prince Andrei, and even non-combatants like Pierre. Pierre, naive and philosophically inclined, finds himself on the front lines, witnessing the senseless brutality and confusion. He sees not glorious charges, but men suffering, dying, and struggling in a horrifying, chaotic ballet of death. Through these perspectives, Tolstoy shows that a battle's outcome is not determined by a single tactical genius, but by the morale, endurance, and countless small, uncoordinated actions of thousands of individuals. It's the cumulative, often accidental impact of these infinitesimal units that dictates the course of history. This concept is revolutionary, democratizing the historical narrative and shifting focus from kings and generals to the everyday person. This leads us to the novel's central theme, the search for meaning and authenticity in life. Two characters, Pierre Bezukhov and Prince Andrei Bolkonsky, embody this quest. Pierre, initially directionless, seeks answers in abstract philosophies, joining the Freemasons, believing they hold the secret to universal truth. He tries to apply their teachings to improve his peasants' lives, but his efforts are often clumsy and ineffectual, highlighting the gap between abstract ideals and practical reality. His journey is one of trial and error, a constant shedding of illusions. Prince Andrei, on the other hand, initially seeks meaning in military glory and ambition, hoping to become another Napoleon. His disillusionment comes dramatically at the Battle of Austerlitz in 1805. Wounded and lying on the battlefield, he looks up at the high, infinite sky. In that moment, the petty ambitions of Napoleon, the glory he once craved, seem utterly insignificant. The vastness of the universe, the quiet beauty of the clouds, dwarfs all human striving. This epiphany marks a turning point for Andrei, shifting his quest from external glory to internal peace. Andrei later experiences another profound symbolic moment with the ancient oak tree. He first sees it as a gnarled, barren tree in spring, mirroring his own despair and cynicism after personal tragedies. He thinks, yes, that oak is right, 1,000 times right. The young spring needs no leaves, and the old man needs neither wife nor friends. But when he passes the same tree later in the season, it has burst forth with fresh, green young leaves, full of vibrant life. This renewal of the tree directly reflects Andrei's own spiritual rebirth and rekindled hope, symbolizing the cyclical nature of life and the possibility of finding joy again after profound loss. While Pierre and Andrei pursue intellectual and spiritual paths, Natasha Rostova represents a different kind of wisdom, the wisdom of life itself, lived with vibrant passion and empathy. Her emotional journey, from youthful naivety and heartbreaks like her engagement to Andrei and her impulsive infatuation with Anatole Kuregin, to mature love and domesticity, anchors the novel in the profound realities of human connection. Natasha's capacity for love, her spontaneity, and her ability to find joy in simple things are presented as a powerful force of life, an ideal mode of being that often eludes the more intellectual characters. The concept of peace in War and Peace extends far beyond the mere absence of war. It encompasses inner harmony, familial warmth, and a deep connection to the natural rhythms of existence. Tolstoy suggests that true peace is not a state to be achieved once and for all, but an ongoing process, a way of living that embraces the complexities of human relationships and finds beauty in the mundane. The novel's epilogue, which focuses on the domestic lives of the surviving characters, particularly Pierre and Natasha, emphasizes this continuity and the enduring importance of family and everyday life. Tolstoy's narrative structure itself reflects this holistic vision. He seamlessly weaves together grand historical panoramas with deeply intimate character studies. One moment we are on a chaotic battlefield, the next we are at a lavish ball, then inside the mind of a character grappling with profound existential questions. This approach allows Tolstoy to present a microcosm of Russian society and a broad sweep of historical events, juxtaposing the grand with the intimate, demonstrating how individual fate is shaped by and in turn influences the currents of history. The novel also presents a strong contrast between the artificiality of aristocratic city life and the more authentic, grounded existence of the countryside and the peasantry. Tolstoy often idealizes the natural wisdom of the common people, seeing them as closer to fundamental truths and less corrupted by societal pretense. This is evident in Pierre's later appreciation for the simplicity and resilience of the Russian peasant, especially during his time as a prisoner of war. Moreover, Tolstoy's philosophical parallels extend to broader discussions of determinism versus free will. He posits that while individuals might feel they have free will, their actions are often part of a larger, interconnected web of causality that is difficult to grasp. He uses analogies like a flock of sheep or a swarm of bees to illustrate how countless individual movements contribute to a collective direction that no single entity truly controls. This deterministic undertone, however, does not diminish the profound moral and spiritual choices his characters make, creating a powerful tension throughout the narrative. War and Peace stands in dialogue with other great works of world literature that attempt to capture the totality of human experience. While Homer's Iliad focuses on heroic combat and martial glory, Tolstoy's work questions these very notions, presenting war as a site of suffering and moral ambiguity and highlighting the ordinary individual's role. It is the human cost, the personal impact, and the philosophical search that truly elevate War and Peace, making it in many ways an anti-Iliad, a critique of the romanticized epic. In its sprawling narrative, Tolstoy explores not just the physical landscapes of Russia, but the vast inner landscapes of his characters. He delves into their dreams, their anxieties, their moments of joy and despair with a psychological realism that was groundbreaking for its time. This depth allows readers to connect with the characters on a profoundly human level, recognizing their struggles and triumphs as reflections of their own. Ultimately, the core narrative of War and Peace is an expansive, detailed chronicle of humanity itself, its flaws, its resilience, its capacity for both destruction and profound love. It teaches us that amidst the grand, often terrifying movements of history, the true essence of life is found in the everyday, the personal, and the continuous search for a deeper connection to ourselves and to each other. Deep insight and reflection, the enduring power of War and Peace lies in its ability to speak across centuries, offering profound insights that resonate deeply with our contemporary world. Its exploration of fundamental human questions makes it a dictionary of life, applicable to personal crises, societal dynamics, and our ongoing search for meaning. First, consider understanding conflict and its human cost. In an era still grappling with global conflicts, from regional wars to geopolitical tensions, Tolstoy's unflinching portrayal of war's brutality, chaos, and psychological toll remains incredibly prescient. It strips away any romanticized notions of battle, forcing us to confront the shared suffering and the profound moral compromises it demands. For instance, the novel's depiction of ordinary soldiers' experiences can help us better understand the psychological impact of modern warfare on veterans and civilians, moving beyond abstract political analyses to the tangible human reality. Second, the novel offers timeless guidance for navigating personal growth and self-discovery. Characters like Pierre and Andrei embark on arduous spiritual and philosophical journeys to find purpose amidst chaos and personal tragedy. Their struggles with identity, love, loss, and the search for authentic living are profoundly relatable. Think of how many modern individuals wrestle with career dissatisfaction, relationship challenges, or existential dread. Pierre's eventual peace, found not in grand philosophies but in simpler truths and human connection, provides a compelling model for finding contentment in our often overwhelmed lives. This journey of continuous questioning and evolving values is a blueprint for personal resilience in any age. Third, Tolstoy's critique of leadership and power holds significant relevance. He famously dismisses the great man theory of history, suggesting that leaders are often deluded about their own influence, merely serving as instruments for larger, collective forces. This perspective encourages us to critically reevaluate contemporary political narratives and media portrayals of leaders. Are charismatic figures truly shaping our destiny, or are they too products of deeper societal currents and collective will? This prompts skepticism toward authoritarian claims and fosters an appreciation for the collective agency of ordinary citizens in shaping democratic processes and social movements. Fourth, the novel illuminates the importance of human connection and family in an increasingly fragmented world. Amidst war and societal upheaval, the bonds of love, friendship, and family provide solace, strength, and meaning. Natasha Rostova's journey through love and motherhood exemplifies the profound fulfillment found in these intimate relationships. In an age of digital connection that can often feel superficial, War and Peace reminds us of the irreplaceable value of genuine human empathy, physical presence, and the enduring strength of familial ties, urging us to invest in these relationships. Finally, Tolstoy's work fosters a deeper appreciation for the breadth of human experience. Its inclusiveness, as critics note, encourages readers to embrace the complexity and richness of life in all its facets, from the mundane to the extraordinary, from moments of profound joy to deep suffering. This broad worldview cultivates empathy, helping us understand diverse perspectives and find common ground in our shared humanity, particularly vital in an era of polarized views and cultural misunderstandings. War and Peace doesn't just offer answers, it invites us to ponder. Here are some questions to consider: the nature of control. In our highly interconnected and rapidly changing world, how much free will do we truly possess? And to what extent are our lives shaped by forces beyond our control, like global economics, technology, or political movements? Redefining leadership. If Tolstoy is right about the great man theory, what qualities should we truly value in our leaders, and how can we empower collective action more effectively? Does our media narrative still overly focus on individual heroes or villains? Finding meaning in the everyday. In a society that often emphasizes grand achievements and external validation, how can we cultivate a sense of meaning and peace in our daily routines, our personal relationships, and our connection to nature, much like Pierre eventually found? The ethics of conflict. Given Tolstoy's raw depiction of war, how should societies ethically engage in conflict, if at all? What are our responsibilities to mitigate suffering? And how do we foster genuine reconciliation? Authenticity in relationships. In an age of curated online personas, how do we strive for the kind of genuine, heartfelt connection and authenticity in our relationships that Natasha embodies rather than superficial interactions? The cycles of history. Tolstoy suggests history is cyclical. What historical patterns do you observe repeating in our current events? And what lessons from the past do you think we are failing to learn? Individual vs. collective. When do our individual desires and pursuits serve the greater good, and when do they detract from it? How do we balance personal ambition with our responsibility to the community? The peace within, beyond the absence of war. What does peace truly mean to you on a personal level? How do you cultivate that inner tranquility amidst life's inevitable challenges? These questions, deeply embedded within the narrative of War and Peace, are not just academic exercises. They are invitations to a richer, more reflective life. They encourage us to look beyond the surface, to question established narratives, and to find our own profound understanding of the world and our place within it. Outro as we conclude our journey through the monumental world of Leo Tolstoy's War and Peace. We're left with a profound appreciation for its unparalleled literary genius. This novel is far more than a historical account. It is a timeless philosophical epic that challenges us to rethink history, to embrace the complexities of the human spirit, and to continuously seek meaning in both the grand and the everyday. It stands as an enduring testament to the power of literature to capture the entirety of human experience, reminding us that even amidst the most cataclysmic events, the human heart continues its essential quest for love, truth, and peace. War and Peace isn't just the greatest novel ever written because of its length or its historical scope. It's because it offers a comprehensive dictionary of life, a guide to navigating the accursed questions of existence with profound empathy and unflinching realism. It shows us that true heroism often lies not in conquering empires, but in confronting our inner selves, loving authentically, and finding connection in a world that constantly tests our humanity. If this exploration has piqued your interest, there's a vast universe of related ideas to explore. Consider delving into Dostoyevsky's Crime and Punishment, a profound psychological novel that contrasts with Tolstoy's scope, focusing intensely on individual morality and redemption within a confined urban setting. It explores the depths of the human psyche with a different, more turbulent philosophical lens. Victor Hugo's Les Miserables, another epic historical novel that, like War and Peace, weaves together personal destinies with grand historical events, focusing on themes of justice, redemption, and the human spirit's resilience against societal oppression. It offers a different yet equally powerful vision of humanity's struggles. Homer's The Iliad and the Odyssey, the ancient epics that set the standard for war narratives and arduous journeys. Exploring them alongside War and Peace can offer fascinating insights into how the portrayal of heroism, conflict, and destiny has evolved across millennia. Tolstoy's own philosophical work, A Confession, for those intrigued by Tolstoy's spiritual journey and his search for meaning. This nonfiction work directly details his existential crisis and the philosophical and religious conclusions he drew, which profoundly influenced his later fiction and his moral philosophy. War and Peace reminds us that life is a continuous flow, a blend of moments of intense war and serene peace, both externally and within ourselves. It is a masterpiece that will continue to challenge, inspire, and illuminate the human condition for generations to come. Thank you for joining us on this